She could probably get several bags of coffee for that guitar. Well, that was good. I think that was it's a good game, you know. And you know, I like to riff on stuff, and it's just in my nature to make fun of everything. It's not a reflection of the quality of the game by any means. It's just what I do. It's how I enjoy the game. So, especially when I got these chuckleheads in the chat egging me on. You guys are cracking me up. But no, it's a very good game. I'll go to Big James. Hi, Big James. It's a very good game. It's I think you can't really judge this one without comparing it to the first one. And in doing that, it's a great improvement over the first one to me in every regard. I see no problem with this ending, honestly. I know a lot of folks hemmed and hawed and, you know, got really upset about a lot of the subject matter in the game. Specifically, you know, a lot of the social issues that were presented, which, you know, it's not really fair or a genuine criticism. That's just people being hateful for being hateful. But as far as just the quality of the game, like, this is a story-driven game first and foremost, and so the story takes precedence over everything, and it does have a very good story. I really enjoyed, most of all, the fact that there are no heroes in this story. There are no good guys. You know, everybody's a shade of gray, and it's a dark gray, but that's just because of the situation that they've all been put into, and it just gets worse from there. I mean, you look at the Rattlers, and they're basically the worst gang in the whole game, and it doesn't go much higher than there, morality wise. But you know, that's kind of the thing I like about Game of Thrones is, you know, everybody's kind of a shade of gray in that show and in those books. You know, and if you are a hero, if you are somebody who's righteous, then you are taken out immediately. And that's just kind of how it is in this game. Joel, you know, everybody just kind of does what they think is the right thing to do. And often those things conflict, and it's more complicated than just, oh, you killed my adopted dad, so I have to get you. But, you know, the reason she did it, she was getting revenge because he killed her dad. And it's just, it's deep. It's a deep, multi-layered story that deserves, you know, many looks. And the other thing that I really liked the most about the story was how it was sort of like interlacing the two primary protagonists. They're naturally at odds with each other, and you get to see everything through both of their eyes, and it's sort of like a mid-game twist that I thought was really cool. I wasn't expecting that to happen, but more than just seeing it through both of their viewpoints, you get to things are a little bit out of order, and so you see things through Ellie, day 1, 2, 3 in Seattle, and then you see things through Abby's viewpoint, day 1, 2, 3, and so there's a bit of overlap as far as like where they are and who they're interacting with. And if you go back to the beginning of the game, knowing why everybody is here and what's going on, you know, you can sort of piece things together. It's sort of like how Pulp Fiction does that. They kind of put things out of order, and through multiple watches, you sort of get the big picture of these characters interacting with each other. And it's sort of like a mental exercise, but it's just a really good, engaging, and interesting way to tell the story. And so that's all stuff that I really, really like. And that also is the reason why I think that this honestly would have been a better TV show. And I realize that they're making a TV show, and I will watch it, inevitably. I will definitely watch it at some point. But, you know, it works as a game, but to me, the gameplay mechanics in this one, while they're better than the first one, just aren't quite there for me. I had a lot of fun tonight playing as Ellie going through Santa Barbara, and things sort of just really clicked, and it was really fun. But it just, I don't know. I have to sort of relearn my muscle memory to get into this game. It's sort of the control setting in this game and the way that you play is unique among other games like it. And it's sort of like Red Dead Redemption 2. A lot of the controls in that kind of make me scratch my head. A lot of the design choices, and anytime I jump back into it, I have to sort of relearn how to play it. And it kind of frustrates me. Some games you can just naturally pick up. Ghost of Tsushima is a perfect example of a game that just works. You pick it up and the controls work the way you would expect them to work without having to sort of look up how to do everything. And to me, it was more fluid and the layout and everything just made sense. And I realize you can sort of map your own controls, but I don't know. I would say, like, story-wise, I would give this like a 9 out of 10. Like, it's a fantastic story. Gameplay-wise, I mean, I would say it's more like a 7 to me. It's just not quite there gameplay-wise. And it was the story. It's, you know, they came up with this great story, I feel like, and then sort of attached a gameplay to it. They didn't have a great, fun game and then wrote a story within those confines, I feel like. That's just the sense that I get. Which is fine, but it's just, you know, the gameplay suffers as a result. And I'll say the soundtrack is okay. It fits certainly very well with the narrative and the themes of the game and the tone. But, you know, you can't really like hum a tune from The Last of Us, you know. It's not like a soundtrack that I would just sort of listen to. It's okay. Maybe it's just not my taste so much, but it's good, but it's just not my taste. But very good game overall. I don't know that I could really put a numbered score to this game, but just because different aspects of it are better than others to me. But, you know, I would give it, at least if I had to, like a solid 8, like a B plus. How about that? This game gets a B plus for me, or an A minus, somewhere in there. It's definitely worth playing. And I'll say this too, there were a couple parts in the game that I feel were really unnecessarily gratuitous. Like, it's inherently a violent game because of the subject matter, and it kind of needs to be to really make its point. But there were certain parts, specifically the part with Abby and Owen in the boat, like, aspects of that scene were wholly unnecessary, and I wish I could sort of like scrub them from my memory, excuse me. But it's I feel like they could have toned it down a little bit as far as things like that scene, and with some of the violence, it seems just a little bit, it seems like a bit much. But, you know, it didn't necessarily detract from my enjoyment of the game. It's just, it seems like they went just a little bit overboard, just a little bit. But that's pretty much it. That's how I feel about the game. As far as replayability, I mean, I could go through again to try to get the platinum and get all the collectibles, and, you know, they have like permadeath mode and things like that. And I just, I don't really see the need to do that. I've got so many games to play right now and so many videos to make about other games, and I just don't have time to go back through and play this one again. I didn't like it so much that I want to play through it again. And so that's kind of a minus in my book, but that's more a reflection of just my schedule than, you know, the quality of the game. If I had time, I might give it another go, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. So that's pretty much it. Ghost of Tsushima or The Last of Us 2 is game of the year. Ghost of Tsushima, hands down. For me, hands down. Like, there's nothing bad about Ghost of Tsushima. It's a perfect game. And it's gaming perfection. Like, if I had to pick one game from this generation or the last generation to play ever, like, it would be Ghost of Tsushima. It's amazing. You know, The Last of Us Part 2, its strong point is its story, and it's very engaging, but to me, Ghost of Tsushima has just as engaging a story, just as good voice acting, facial animations, You know, the realism is there. You get the emotion from the characters just as well from Ghost of Tsushima, on top of having some of the best open world gameplay and exploration, and the fighting and just the style and the tone. Everything about Ghost of Tsushima is perfection. And so it's gonna be a hard sell trying to convince me this game is better. It's a good game, but you know, I could think of several other years where I would say, okay, yeah, game of the year to The Last of Us Part 2, but Ghost of Tsushima is just, it's like I said, it's perfection. I can't. it's so stinking good. I love it. I see why people think this is divisive, but the themes of this game are not easy topics to digest, and it's hard to let go of our biases. Yes, it is. It's deep, and it's a hard, cold look at a lot of the things about human beings in general, about society, but our humanity as well. Sort of what makes us tick. Nicole Bernstein, the apocalypse brought out the worst in everyone. Worst part about it, that it'd probably happen. Oh, it absolutely would. COVID has convinced me that if something like this happened, like this would be a documentary. Mwah, I like that only at the final scene that you realize it's not just about revenge and vengeance for Ellie, but also forgiveness and survival guilt. Yeah, the survival guilt's a big thing, you know? And not just because Joel died, but she had the survival guilt because of the choice that Joel made. And so it's like she had this conflicting emotions about, like, she hated Joel for taking that away from her and sort of being so selfish to want to keep Ellie around, to not let the Fireflies, you know, use her to, you know, save the world. But at the same time, you know, she loved him for who he was and all the things that he'd done for her. And so very complicated, very complicated. I think a psychiatrist or a psychologist or somebody could look over the characters in this game and just, they could make a career of sort of diagnosing all the problems that these characters have. PTSD to name one. Shakil Khan, funny you mentioned therapist. Dr. Mick, a PhD therapist, YouTuber, did a full playthrough with detailed commentary. Of course he did. Of course. Like, it's just, you know, it's ripe for the picking for anybody with a mind for psychology. Thank you for sitting with me while I go through this journey. It was really good. And I enjoyed all of it. I mean, I didn't enjoy like the really grisly parts where I have to like stab somebody I don't want to stab. But, you know, that's the game. That's what it is. So I'll see you guys Thursday right here on Good night, everybody. Thank you again for watching. Goodbye.